So what we're going to do is we're going to open up a Word document and let's do that. Now, before you even start writing, before you do anything to your paper, you're going to have to make sure that it's formatted correctly, meaning that you have to make sure that the font is correct. So make sure the font over here is Times New Roman and make sure that the font size is 12. After that, the line spacing, make sure it's double spaced. And after you double space your paper, hit this button and it should say remove space after paragraph. Basically, if you don't remove it, you're going to have spaces in between your paragraphs. Make sure that's not there. So just hit this button or click the button. And that's it. So Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced, and all the spaces are removed. So once you do that, by default, Microsoft Word should have 1-inch margins. So um, as long as you don't modify anything to your Microsoft Word, shouldn't be an issue. So how to do a header? So now that you've formatted your paper correctly, you're now going to do the header for your paper. So the header is going to look like this. At the top, you're going to put your name here. Don't type your name literally, just write your name. Um, and you can put my name below. This is the standard format for all MLA English papers. You're going to put your instructor's name below your name. And then after you put your name or my name, you're going to put the class. So this is ENG 112, or you can put English 112 and today's date. So today is January 29th, 2025. I know that the paper is going to say January 27th, the one that you're going to download from the Moodle page, the example paper, and all the other videos are going to say January 27th. But again, that's because I did this video series on the 27th. I'm only redoing this one 2 days later on the 29th because I didn't like the way it came out originally. So this is what your header should look like. Now, or should I say heading? You'll see why in a second. The next thing you should do is you're going to go to insert and you're going to, so yeah, this is what's called your heading. This is your paper heading. To do your header, because you're also going to need a header for MLA formatted papers. You're going to go to this, you're going to click the insert button. And when you click the insert button, you're going to see this at the top. It says header, footer, and page number. You're going to click on page number. When you click on page number, you're going to go to top of page, and there's this option here, plain number 3. And this is going to put the number on the right-hand side. So you're going to click this option here. And when you click this, let me remove my screen. When you click this option, you're going to see the page number here, page number 1. And now you're going to type your last name. So whatever your last name is. So you can go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and use my last name. So I'll put Velasquez space, and then you'll have your last name plus the page number. Now, you're going to highlight all of this. When you highlight all of this, you're then going to go to click on home. When you click on home, you're going to put this in Times New Roman. And you see it changes the font and it changes the number fonts as well. Then you're going to close the header and footer. And when you do that, now you have your header, and it's going to be your last name plus whatever page number. And then over here is your heading, your name, my name, the class, and the date. Okay, so that's how you format your paper. That is how you do both your header and your heading. So once you have formatted your paper correctly and you're ready to start with the title and everything, you're ready to go. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to title your paper. Now, we went over this in the previous class, right? Or excuse me, in the previous video. You are going to pick any topic that you want. I gave you a list here of possible topics that you can choose from. It's up to you which one you want to do. You can even pick one of your own as long as you let me know and I approve of it in advance. But for my example paper, for this paper I'm going to write in front of you, we're going to do this one, the effects of sleep deprivation. So since I'm writing on the effects of sleep deprivation, that's going to be the title of my paper. You can title your paper whatever you want, but I mean, that's why overcomplicate it, right? So to title your paper, you're simply going to hit the enter key. Now it should be double spaced. When you hit the enter key, you're going to center the title and you're going to put the title. So I'm doing the effects of sleep deprivation. Okay, so what happens when you don't get enough sleep? Okay, after that, all you do, once you title your paper, you hit the enter key, and then you're going to align left. Now, once you've aligned your paper left, you're ready to start typing. At that point, all you need to do is hit the tab key. So the tab key indents your paper for you. So just look on your keyboard, look for the tab button, just press it, and there you go. It's your paper's indented. Okay, so I believe I said in the last video, I can't remember because it was a couple of days ago that I filmed it, but when I start writing my paper, I never start. So this is the outline I discussed it in the previous video, but I never start with the introduction, and you'll see why. When you get to the last video where I discuss how to write your conclusion and your introduction, you're going to see why I do the introduction last. So in this video, I'm not going to start with the introduction. I'm going to start with body paragraph 1. So body paragraph 1, it says discuss the most important cause and or effects. Okay, so at this point, I'm just discussing one of the effects of sleep deprivation. Now, you need to have done research before you get to this point, before you even start writing your paper. You need to research your topic and figure out what it is that you want to write about, and then do research on it. So if you're doing, for example, um, I don't know, the effects of exercise, you need to write down a list of effects, and you're only going to discuss 2 or 3 maybe. Most likely 2, right? Because it's only paragraphs 1 and 2 that discuss the effects of exercise. And paragraph 4 is a little different, and I'll explain that in the next video. But I just want to stick to paragraph 1 for now. But you need to already have an idea of what you're going to say, right? Because the first sentence has to be your topic sentence. Now it says here, this sentence is what the entire paragraph is about. It tells me what one of the most important causes or effects are. So me, like I said, I've already done research in advance. So this is an article. It's called The Global Problem of Insufficient Sleep and Its Serious Public Health Implications. And this article gives me a list of all the things that sleep deprivation does. So could lead to hypertension for blood, cardiovascular incidents, type 2 diabetes, depression, obesity, cancer, could affect your cognitive performance, that is your thinking, memory, your mood, right? I see these could all be different paragraphs. And like I said, the best thing to do research, find articles that discuss, the effects of exercise or the effects of internet addiction or the causes of stress or the effects of pollution. Whatever you're writing about, narrow it down to 1 or 2 things, or excuse me, two or 3 things, and because you're only going to really write about two. So in this particular example, I'm going to um I'm going to talk about how sleep deprivation could lead to cancer. Okay, so notice it says linked to an increased risk of cancer. So that's going to be what I'm going to focus on. So to start, I'm going to start with my topic sentence. So let's go to the outline. So again, the outline says uh, you're discussing, right, body paragraph one. We're going to start with body paragraph one. Discuss the most important cause and or effects. Okay, so one of the most important for my paper, one of the most important causes, one of the most important effects of sleep deprivation. So if you look over here, first sentence has to be the topic sentence. Every sentence you write at the beginning of every paragraph in this class has to be your topic sentence. This is what the entire paragraph is about. Okay. Tells me what one of the most important causes or effects are. Now, again, I just said that I'm going to talk about cancer and how there's a link to an increased risk of cancer. So, what I'm going to start off with is very simple topic sentence, right? One of the major effects of sleep deprivation is that it makes you more vulnerable to cancer, right? Makes you more prone, more vulnerable to getting cancer if you don't sleep enough because, the body, when it's resting, that's when the immune system is kind of, it's like charging, and your body is, I guess, I don't know how to say, like recovering, and it's strengthening itself. That's the time where your body and your mind kind of strengthen itself again. But anyways, I'm not, this is in a science class. So one of the major effects of sleep deprivation is that it makes you more vulnerable to cancer. Okay, so I got my topic sentence. Everybody in the world, when they read this first sentence, they know exactly what this paragraph is about. They know this paragraph is about how when you lack sleep, it makes it easier for your body to get things like diseases like cancer. And I'm focusing specifically on cancer. Okay, so now what I need to do is every time I say, this is just me, I'm telling you my personal writing style is every time I see, or excuse me, every time I give a topic sentence, I like to follow that sentence with some research. So if I say this, right, if I say to you, one of the major effects is that it makes you more vulnerable to cancer, I always think in my head, somebody saying, well, how do you know that? Who says that? How do you know that's true? And that's what the next sentence has to do. It has to show, here's this research and here's why it's true. So let me now show you how I would do a basic, I say a basic um, Google search. So I can go like this, right? I already had it open, but I'll just start from scratch. So let's say I go on Google and I type sleep deprivation and cancer because that's my topic sentence. So immediately off the bat, I see this article, right? It says one meta-analysis published in 2020 included 8 cohort studies with more than 500,000 participants and found a moderate 24% increased risk of cancer for participants with insomnia symptoms compared to those without insomnia. Insomnia, those are people who, can't sleep at night. People who can't sleep at night struggle to sleep at night, really sleep in the day because they can't sleep at night. That's what you call insomnia. So people who can't sleep, right, have a 24% increased risk of cancer. That I can use for this paragraph because that's what my paragraph is about. So I'm going to click on this. This is already a great source. Okay, so here I have this here I have the article, but this is what I really like, right? It says a moderate 24% increased risk of cancer for participants with insomnia symptoms compared to those without insomnia. Okay, so this is a really good point um, to stop because I need to explain a couple things with this. Number one, I need to explain how we're going to cite the source in text and then cite the source in the works cited page. And I know it sounds complicated, but it's really not. It's really easy. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So if you go on Google, right, and you type in MLA in text citation. Okay, so the MLA in text citation, basically what it says, and I might even read a bit, but um this is basically how you do it. You're gonna type, this is what's called the author page method. The author page method is whenever you are writing some, whenever you're writing and you're using research that someone else did, you have to credit that person because, right? Remember what I said earlier. If I tell somebody, how, sleep deprivation can make you more vulnerable to cancer, that person is going to say to me, well, how do you know that? I'm not going to sit there and say, because I said so, right? But that's what you're doing when you don't credit the authority. Because now if you say, well, according to these researchers, they say this, this, and this, and these researchers study this for a living. Now I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Now you have experts siding with you, and you're citing those experts. Hopefully that makes sense of what I'm trying to say. So again, here we have some experts explaining how lacking sleep could make you more vulnerable to something like cancer. Okay, so first of all, like I said, how do you cite this? So MLA has this format style called author page method. The author page method is very simple. When you write and you're citing a source, you're gonna first put the author. Okay, so that's the first thing, right? Let's break it down step by step. So first, the author. So who wrote this? It's a good question. I'll show you a trick. Here's how you know, right? You can go to the top and you see the study name, right? Sleep quality and risk of cancer, blah, blah, blah. And you see all of these people. You see Chen Shi Song, Zhang, Wang, all these scientists, right? Now, there are how many? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. There's seven different authors. You're not going to write every single author. Let me show you a trick for how to do this, a hack, kind of, if you want to call it that. If you find an academic journal or an academic research study like this, one way you can kind of know which author to cite is by simply clicking the cite button if it has one. So there should be one though. If there are a lot of authors like this and it's a research paper, it should have a cite button. So if you click this cite button, this is going to be how you're going to credit that paper in your paper, in your works cited paper. We're going to talk about the works cited paper in a second. But notice what it says at the top, right? It says Song Chen Shi et al. Et al just means there's more than three authors. I believe that's what it means. There's more than three. If there's more than three, right? If it's two, they'll usually put two. If it's three, they'll put all three. If it's more than that, they'll just put et al. Right? That's what it means. It means there's more than three authors. But we're not gonna write et al. We're just gonna write Chen Shi Song because when we put our works cited page, that's who I'm going to see that you cited. It'll make more sense when I show you this. instead of just explaining it. But for now, this is how I know who the author is. So remember, for in-text citation, first thing you do, you're going to put the author. Okay, so who is the author? The author is Chen Shi Song. Now we know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my paper and I'm going to say this. According to Chen Shi Song, okay, so now what I like to do is I like to also put the source, right? So what is the source of this paper? The source is, you can see it here, right? The journal, the academic journal, you'll know what it is when you see the italics, right? You see how the font is just normal font, but this sleep is in italics. The sleep tells you that that's the name of the organization. Also, you can see here it says sleep in big letters. Sleep stands for Sleep Research Society. Okay, so I could either say Chen Shi Song from Sleep, or I could say Sleep Research Society. And again, since this is the name of an organization, you have to put it in italics. Okay. So, according to Chen Shi Song from Sleep Research Society, okay, so now I got the author. I cited the author. Okay. So next is going to be the page, but I'm going to do that at the end. And I'll show you how to find the page. For now, all I'm going to do is cite the part that I want to put. So there's two ways to cite. One way is using direct quotes. When you use direct quotes, you are literally quoting the author word for word, but those aren't your words. So because they're not your words, you have to use this quote. You have to use quotation marks, because otherwise it's plagiarism. Because now you're saying, "Oh, these are my words," but you never said that, right? You're taking credit from someone else. You don't want to do that. So what you want to do, let's for this example, there's a second way, right? I didn't mention the second way. I'll just go ahead and say what it is. The second way is paraphrasing. And you've probably heard your teacher say this, right? Oh, make sure you put it in your own words. That's paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is, instead of copying what the author's saying word for word, you're putting it into your own words. So you don't have to use quotation marks, but you do have to cite the page number, because you're still getting that information from that study. So let me let's do the first option. Let's do this and let's quote directly from the author. So we already have the first part, right? According to Chen Shi Song, gave the author credit. From where? Sleep Research Society. Okay, I've now cited the source. And now it's time to do the quotes. So I'll say there is a I'll say there is, I'll remove the quotes. There is a, and I'll put quotes, and here is where I want to start it. A moderate 24% increased risk of cancer for participants with insomnia symptoms compared to those without insomnia. All right, so I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it. Now, don't keep the source formatting. You can either merge the formatting or keep the text only. I'll just merge the formatting. Okay, so now I have the quote, and now I'm going to close this. So now you see, even though I copied and pasted, right? You might think, well, you just copied and pasted it. Yes, but I put it in quotation marks. So I'm telling you that these aren't my words. I'm quoting directly from this author. I'm quoting directly from Chen Shi Song from the Sleep Research Society. So if we read the sentence back, it says, according to Chen Shi Song from Sleep Research Society, there is a moderate 24% increased risk of cancer for participants with insomnia symptoms compared to those without insomnia. And close quote. Now, I've now backed up my topic sentence, right? It makes you more vulnerable to cancer. People who can't sleep at night. Oh, I just realized there's two A's here. I'm going to delete this one. People who can't sleep at night are more prone to cancer. People who struggle to sleep 8 hours a day or however many hours they need are more prone to cancer. Okay, great. Looks good so far. Now, the next part is if I'm going to cite in text, now I'm going to put the page number. Well, how do I get the page number? Very easy. You just go to whatever source you got it from, and it'll be different depending on where you get the information from, but you'll see um the way it works going forward. We're going to download the PDF because you're going to need to download the PDF because there are no page numbers on the web page. If they put the article on a web page, you're not going to see the page number because this research comes from a journal that already has other articles in there. So this might not be page 1 or page 2. This might be like page 200 or something. The way you know is you just download the PDF. You download the article. Okay, so here's the article, right? And here, let's see, where is the part that I quoted? It says right here, a moderate 24% increased risk of cancer for participants with insomnia symptoms compared to those without. Okay, so this is what I quoted in my article. And now I'm going to look for the page number. And that page number is up here. Okay, so this is page number 2. So I see it's page number 2 from the Sleep Journal. And now what I'm going to do, if you look at this, right, the in-text citation, by the way, this website is Purdue University. They have the best website for MLA citations. So check them out if you're ever lost or you're not sure how to cite something. I mean, you could ask me, but I mean, this is a great resource as well, Purdue Al. So you notice, right, the sentence, right? This example sentence. Wordsworth stated that romantic poetry was marked by a quote spontaneous overflow of feelings. Notice ours is very similar. Instead of Wordsworth, it says Chen Shi Song. Chen Shi Song, according to her, she said that blah blah blah, or he said that blah blah blah, and I put in quotation marks. I literally cited directly, just like this author, or just like this writer. Now, notice the style. They close the quote, and then in parentheses they put the page number. So that's the style we're going to use. We're also going to close a quote. We already closed it, and we're going to put in parentheses the page number, 2, period. So that's what you call an author page in-text citation, where you're citing who the author is, where they're from, and the page number. And that's basically it. So now here's the thing, we're not done yet. So now this is an in-text citation, and this is good. But you're also going to need a works cited page. So a works cited page is going to be a page where all of the research that you cited in your paper is going to appear on this works cited page, and you'll see why it's important in a second. To create a works cited page, you already see, right, how this article is already properly formatted. Assuming you've also properly formatted your article, it should be a piece of cake. Here's what it should look like. You're going to go to Insert. When you click on Insert, there's this button here that says Page Break. It says Insert to Page Break. So you're going to click that button. So notice what it did. Created another page. So here you see Velasquez 2. Up here's my paper, Velasquez 1. So what do I do with this new page? Same thing as before with the title. You're going to hit the center button. When you click the center button, you're going to put at the top works cited. And then you're going to hit the enter key. and then align left again. Okay, so that's it. Now you got your works cited page. So when you get this works cited page, you're going to cite your source. Now, how do you cite your source? Well, lucky for us, this one is very easy to do. I'll tell you why. Because it has this button here called cite. It makes it very easy for me to do. So I'm going to click this button here. Now, here you can see all the different formats. It's already an MLA, and that's our format. We're doing MLA format. So this is the citation right here. This tells you who the author is, the name of the article, which is called Sleep Quality and Risk of Cancer, Findings from the English Longitudinal Study of Aging, the name of the journal, Sleep, the volume, 44, I think this is the issue number 3, the year 2021, and the URL. Everything you need to know about this article is here. So I'm going to click this copy button, and I'm going to go back to my works cited, and I'm going to hit paste. Okay, now, before you click paste, don't be reckless. Before you click paste, notice the options. There is this keep source formatting. Don't hit that one. Don't hit that button, because if you hit that button, what it's going to do is it's going to do this. You see the format is different. The font is different. The font they use is Consolas. Okay, so let's undo that. Don't do that. There's also keep text only. The issue with keep text only is that it doesn't italicize the title of the journal. So what I like to do is I like to just click the merge formatting button. Usually that'll work. So you hit the merge formatting, and that's it. You have now the exact article. Why is this important? Because when I read your paper and you say, according to Chen Shi Song from Sleep Research Society, there is a moderate 24% increased risk of cancer for participants with insomnia symptoms compared to those without insomnia. And I say, okay, that's an interesting study. And I see it's page 2. I'm still going to be wondering, where is this information? And then I can go to your works cited. Okay, here's Chen Shi Song. Oh, it comes from this article, Sleep Quality and Risk of Cancer. Okay, and it comes from this journal called Sleep. So I can even maybe go to your paper and copy and paste, right, the title of your article, and I can see, oh, they cited from this journal. Okay, and what page is this? This is page number 2. Okay, so let's go to page 2. Okay, here's page 2. Ah, here it is. Here's where this information is coming from. So you see, everything you say in your paper, there's a direct kind of link to that. You're not just saying things, right? Because if you just say something, again, people can always ask, how do you know that's true? Where are you getting this information? And so this is how you back up your data, is you're citing from this source. Okay, but you're not done yet. You're still not done. What you have to do now is you have to create, for your works cited page, a hanging indent. I know some of you are probably thinking, what is that and how do I do that? Well, lucky for you, it's really easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to highlight this whole thing. Don't highlight the works cited. Okay, just highlight the actual whatever it is that you're citing, the source. Over here is this paragraph button. It's a very low key kind of button. But here's this paragraph area here. And what you're going to do is it shows right here paragraph setting. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on paragraph setting or paragraph settings, and you're going to click into that. Now you're going to have this option here called indentation. And on the indentation below that, you're going to see the special option. You're going to click into that special option, and you're going to click hanging. You're going to click hanging, and you're going to click OK. And now you see that it creates literally a hanging indent, like somebody like hanging off of like a cliff or something. Like this is a cliff. All right, but that's why it's called a hanging indent. The other thing is when you have all of your work cited together, you're going to make sure that it's in alphabetical order. So this is S, this stands for song, or yeah, so you have the S for song. And you're just going to, if the next author is Miller, right? It's going to go before song because M goes before S, right? So it's alphabetical order. Okay, and that's it. That's all you got to do to cite a source. And so far, I have two sentences, right? Let's go back to the outline. So you see here, right? Body paragraph one. Right now I already have the topic sentence. It tells me what the paragraph is about. Vulnerability to cancer for those who lack sleep. So what's next? Well, next is the rest of the paragraph. So these sentences discuss the topic sentence in detail. So 3 to 5 sentences. So in 3 to 5 sentences, you need to tell me why your topic sentence is true. I already have one sentence here. Okay, so I'll probably add like whatever, 3 or 4 more sentences and 2 to 4 more sentences. So let's continue this. Let's continue this because I want to cite a little more just so you can have an idea of if you need to cite, you're comfortable doing it. So let me go online and I'll again type in sleep deprivation and cancer. Um, and let's see. Let's find a different article. Um, right. Again, you have to do research. You have to read articles. It's part of the research process, This is English 112, English 220. You're gonna have to do some research. All right, so here's an article that sounds interesting. Could a lack of sleep be causing cancer in young people? Okay, this sounds very interesting. So I'll click into this. So as soon as I click into this, um, I'm gonna maybe just read a little bit. It says the incidence of early onset cancers, defined as cancers diagnosed in adults under 50 years of age, has been rapidly rising over the past several decades, according to a review of 44 countries. This is really interesting. Um, this is true for 14 cancer types, mostly affecting the digestive system. Okay, so you notice, right? This is talking about early cancers that have been rapidly rising over the past several decades. This is for people under 50, right? Like these people aren't old. So, and you can see the list of cancers that are rapidly increasing around the world, or at least in these 44 countries: kidney, liver, pancreas. Um, you see here the alarming findings have left doctors and scientists scrambling to determine why might this be happening and what can be done to fix it. One possible factor may be a decline in sleep quality and duration among the general population. And here it says there are studies indicating a potential link between a disruption of our circadian rhythm, that is our internal body clock, and the development of cancer. This guy, Misag Karimi, says. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to cite from this. Let me do something a little different. I think this would be a perfect way to go about it. So here you have, right, this I quoted directly in the last citation. I quoted directly from the source. This time I want to paraphrase. So instead of quoting directly, I'm going to put it in my own words. So let me read this back just one more time. It says the incidence of early onset cancers, defined as cancers diagnosed in adults under age 50, has been rapidly rising over the past several decades. Okay, so all it's saying basically is that cancers have been increasing in people who are younger, specifically under age 50. So let me show you a second way to do this. So now we're going to paraphrase, and I'm going to basically follow from this last sentence. So there's a risk of cancer for people who aren't sleeping enough. And then I'll go ahead and say, remember, I'm paraphrasing now. So now I'm not going to uh um quote directly. I'm gonna put it in my own words. So I'm gonna say this is a serious problem, especially because there has been an increase in cancers that start at younger ages, specifically under age 50. Okay, so notice what I just did, right? Notice what I just did. I said this is a serious problem, especially because there has been an increase in cancers that start at younger ages, specifically under age 50. All I did was say the same thing that is said here. Uh, Cancers diagnosed in adults under 50 years of age rapidly rising over the past several decades. And look at what I said. There's been an increase in cancers that start at younger ages, especially or specifically under age 50. So you see, I'm saying the same thing, but I'm not quoting directly like I did here. I like to quote directly once, but I won't do it more than that because at that point you're just copying and pasting, right? So you got to know, okay, the next sentence I'll paraphrase it. So in this sentence you're paraphrasing, but you're saying the same thing. Now, notice what I taught you before, right? Author, page, and text citation. Here I gave the author, and I didn't have to, I put the page number here. I didn't have to put the author's name again because I already have it here. Notice here, I didn't cite the author, right? The author of this article is Myra Miller, this lady here. All right, so Myra Miller, and she wrote this, and I'm getting this paraphrase from her. So I want to give her credit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now I could do one of two ways. I could say according to Myra Miller, but I already did this here. According to Chen Shi Song, I don't want to repeat that again. So I'm gonna remove this and I'm gonna do it the second method. So if you notice, right, MLA in text citations, this is another way you can cite, right? If you don't put the name of the author that you're citing, here it says Wordsworth. Wordsworth stated that, right? And then they put the page number. If you don't put Wordsworth, like here, romantic poetry is characterized by the spontaneous flow. Here, Wordsworth goes in the parentheses. Either way, you have to give Wordsworth credit in the text, whether it's in the sentence itself or whether it's in the parentheses after the sentence. So because I did not credit Miller in the sentence, I have to give Miller, Myra Miller, credit after the sentence is over and the parentheses. So those are your two options. Either you can give the author credit in the sentence or after the sentence is over. So I'm going to put Miller. Now, the last thing is page number. Okay, now I did this on purpose. The reason I pulled up this article is because this article is not part of a research journal. This is literally just an article on this website called verywellhealth.com. So you might be thinking, well, Alex, what do we do if there's no page number? Well, if there's no page number, there's no page number. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this parentheses and add a period. If we did have a page number, we'd put Miller, whatever the page number is, 23 or something, but there is no page number. So we're just going to leave it as Miller. Now, again, we're not done because we have to cite the source in our works cited page. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down and you see here the works cited page. Miller, right, alphabetical order comes before S. M comes before S. So we're going to put her up top. And now, here's the thing. Notice this page doesn't have a cite button. What do we do? Very easy. You're just going to go on the I can show you directly how to do it, but I want to show you kind of if I didn't know how to do it. Here's basically what you do. Just open up a Google search and type in MLA citation for web pages. Okay, so here you have, now most of you, this is going to be very helpful for most of you because most of you are probably going to use web pages, right? You're probably not going to how can I say, you're probably not going to I would hope you go to the library and get some books and check out some books, but a lot of you, I believe most of you will probably just use web pages. And that's fine. If you want to use a web page, that's fine, not a big deal. But again, you need to cite your source. So you're going to click on this website called MLA Works Cited Electronic Sources. This is for web publication. And it's going to show you how to cite in your Works Cited page the web page publication. So here you see it says a page on a website. So for an individual page on a website, list the author or alias if known, followed by an indication of the specific page or article being referenced. Okay, so pretty straightforward. So it shows us here. This is the perfect example. So first things first, name, last name, first name. So this lady's name is last name, Miller, first name, Myra. So we're going to making sure that's right. Yeah, so Miller, Myra. Okay. Next, we're going to put a period. So I'm going to add a period. Okay. Next, quote, and then the name of the article. So here we have how to make vegetarian chili. Well, we're not doing that. We have to find the name of our article, and this is it. Could lack of sleep be causing cancer in young people? So I'm going to copy this. And here we have the name in quotation marks. So I'm going to add a quotation mark. And then I'm going to paste this. I'll merge. Oh, see, keep an eye on how it's going to look beforehand, right? You don't want to keep the source formatting. I definitely don't want to merge the formatting. I'll just keep text only. So got the title. We're going to close the quote. Okay, so we got could lack of sleep be causing cancer in young people. Next. Okay, so next is the source. So this one is called eHow. The source here is called Very Well Health. So Very Well Health. This is the website. Let me see. Okay, Very Well Health. This is how you spell it. So we're gonna go italics. Make sure it's in italics. So Very Well Health. I'm gonna add this to the dictionary so it doesn't show it's an error. Okay. We're gonna remove the italics and add, I believe, a comma. Yeah, so it's a comma after the source in italics. And then it's the actual website. So it's literally the hyperlink or the URL. So that's the easy part, right? Because literally you just go to the URL, copy, and once you copy that, go back and paste it. Okay. And because you already have the hanging indent, it should look like this. Then I believe it's a period, right? Got to pay attention to the, yeah, it's a period. Pay attention to the punctuation. So we're going to add a period space. You should see this link like looking like this. And the last part, accessed 6th of July, 2015. Well, I'm accessing this page January 29th, 2025. So I'm going to say accessed, and it's going to say it's day, month. So I'm going to say 29 January 2025. And we're going to add a period. I believe there's a period at the end. Yeah, there's a period. And that's it. I did it. See, it doesn't take long. You just have to know how to, what the format is. And now, whenever you cite a web page, you already know the format, right? Now I know when I cite a web page, okay, last name, first name, title of the article, the source, the website, and then, yeah, the website, and then the day you accessed it. All right, cool. Now you know how to do it. It's going to get easier every time you do it. The first time, it's always the hardest, right? Because you're doing it for the first time, but um, once you have the practice down, it just gets easier. Okay, so now we've cited two. See, I already have two sources, and I'm barely on the first body paragraph, so I'm probably going to finish with like six sources or something. Okay, so let's read what I have so far. So it says one of the major effects of sleep deprivation is that it makes you more vulnerable to cancer. That's my topic sentence. How do I back that up? Well, according to Chen Shi Song from Sleep Research Society, there is a moderate 24% increased risk of cancer for participants with insomnia symptoms compared with those without insomnia. We close the quote. We have the page number here. So remember, author page, even this one. So it says this is a serious problem, especially because there has been an increase in cancers that start at younger ages, specifically under age 50. Who said that? Miller. Okay. So so far so good. We have three sentences. I'll probably go maybe let's add three more and then we'll wrap it up. I think that would be more than enough for a paragraph. So Um, so let me just follow up. Let me just add a sentence, an easy sentence. So this is a serious problem, especially because there has been an increase in cancers that start at younger ages. So how do we fix this? I mean, just think, right? How do we fix this? If this is a serious problem that young people aren't sleeping enough, well, I think it's pretty obvious. I'll just say, and this can be fixed if young people simply got enough sleep at night. All right. So didn't cite anything there. Don't have to. I mean, I've already cited two sources already. Um, so I'm just gonna add, I added this third sentence. This third sentence is, just an easy kind of sentence to show what the solution is, right? The solution to not sleeping enough is to get enough sleep. I mean, that's pretty much it. So now maybe since I've talked about how it can be fixed, young people getting enough sleep, I want to kind of highlight how important this is, right? Because I mean, if we're talking about cancer is very serious, right? Cancer is terrible, right? It's a very serious thing. And I put here, this can be fixed if young people simply got enough sleep at night. So how can I kind of back this up? Well, I still have this article. I haven't really read it that much, right? But um, look at what this guy says. He says, Miss Misag Karimi, MD, a medical oncologist specializing in gastrointestinal cancers at City of Hope Leonard Foundation Cancer Center in Newport Beach, California, told very well, quote, lack of sleep is detrimental to the body, and we know that regular sleep is essential to fight infection, maintain cognitive health, and lower blood pressure. So look at how important this doctor here is telling us how important sleep is. And when you lack sleep, your body can't really fight infection. I tell students all the time when they're sick, I say get some rest because like when I get sick, right, I sleep like 15 hours. People think I'm lying, but I kid you not, it makes me feel better much faster, right? If you're trying to get better but you're not sleeping, I mean, you really can't get better. But anyways, he talks about right fighting infection, maintaining cognitive health, um, lowering blood pressure. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing that I did here, right? I like what I did here. I paraphrased. I don't want to take again. I already quoted directly up here, and I don't want to do it again. I maybe do it once each paragraph. That's just me though. Um, but here I paraphrase. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and paraphrase again. I really like this article because, or excuse me, I really like this quote because there's this doctor, right? In the last sentence, I said, this can be fixed if people simply got enough sleep. What helps my argument is if I have a doctor backing me up. So here's this doctor. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, doctors, and I'm gonna paraphrase. Doctors such as, I'll say, Misag, I spelled his name wrong. Misag Karimi. I think that's how you, did I spell this right? Misagh. Yeah, I spelled it right. Okay, I'm just gonna add his name to the dictionary. Doctors such as Misag Karimi. So this guy, right? Notice he specializes in gastrointestinal cancers. So I'm gonna say who studies, who study, doctors who study cancer for a living, tells people that sleep is important because remember, he's studying cancer for a living. It's basically what he does. And he's telling people that sleep is important, right? He says lack of sleep is detrimental to the body. Again, I'm not saying exactly what he's saying. I'm paraphrasing it in my own words. So I'm saying he's saying that he's telling people sleep is important for what? Fighting infection. I'll say for fighting disease and whoops and uh says maintaining cognitive health and lower blood pressure. So overall health, in other words. So I'll say and maintaining good overall health. And again, this comes from Miller. So I'm gonna do the same thing again. I didn't say according to Myra Miller, so I have to give Miller credit, and I'm going to do so. Remember, there's no page number, so I'm just gonna close the parentheses. So look at what I have so far. I have a pretty good looking paragraph here. I have one of the major effects of sleep deprivation is that it makes you more vulnerable to cancer. According to Chen Shi Song from Sleep Research Society, there is a moderate 24% increased risk of cancer for participants with insomnia symptoms. Okay, got that. Now, this is a serious problem because there's been an increase in cancer for people who are younger. And this can be fixed if they simply got enough sleep. Matter of fact, here's his doctor. Misak Karimi studies cancer for a living, tells people that sleep is important for fighting disease and maintaining good overall health. So I think that's enough. I have already two sources that I've already cited. I have research. I've already cited two different authors in here. I've cited a doctor. I have the topic sentence, right? Because that's what goes first, right? According to the outline. And then I have 3 to 5 sentences. How many sentences do I have? I have one, I have two, I have three, four. So look at that. I already have 4 sentences. And it didn't take me that long, right? So the last thing I need is just kind of a conclusion. Let me just finish this paragraph. So I'll say, therefore, because I know I only need really one more sentence. I think it would be too long if I added more sentences. So I'll say, therefore, it's important for all people, young or old, to get enough sleep. All right, so this is just me kind of summarizing the main idea, right? It's important for all people, young or old. I mean, we've been talking really about young people, especially here, but young or old, right? To get enough sleep so that they are not affected by cancer in the future. And that's it. Done. So this is how, in my opinion, you start your paper. And just to kind of summarize everything, we talked about the heading, how to do your heading, how to do your header. So the header, once you do it, right, it'll show up in every page as your last name plus the page number. We talked about how to do the title, formatting it properly so that there's no spaces, right, in between. Let me just quickly show you what it'll look like if you don't format it correctly and you just, like, let's say you don't remove the space, it'll look like this, right? it'll look way longer. So make sure it's formatted correctly. I have the topic sentence. I have the sentences that really just discuss this, right? This is the main idea of this paragraph. It makes you more vulnerable to cancer. And the rest is um, how lack of sleep affects people with cancer if they don't get enough sleep, I should say, and the importance of getting sleep to prevent cancer. And last but not least, my works cited page where I uh, am citing every source that I have referenced in my article. And don't forget, also in-text citation, which is always I like to say author, source, and page. But if if anything, the most important is the author name and the page. That way, when you say Miller, I know to go to your works cited, and I look at Miller, and this is the article that you're citing from. And that's pretty much it. All right, so in the next video, uh, I'm going to do body paragraphs 2 and body paragraphs 3. And in the last video, I'm going to show you how to do the conclusion, how to conclude your paper, and how to do the introduction. But that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next video.